Hey everyone, Disaster Daytona here with the second part in this two-part series, Tech Cards for Disaster Dragon. In this video, I'm going to be going over spells that I've seen in different Disaster Dragon decks that I think could work and I think have some advantage as opposed to being used in other decks. Let's get started so I don't make this video too long. The first one I want to talk about, there's three I want to talk about, are ones we're just too lazy to look through my books and stuff to find, are Lance, My Body, and Foolish. Forbidden Lance, minus the monster's attack by 800, and for the rest of the turn it's unaffected by spell and trap cards. It has a lot of potential with Red Eyes. If you're reading the warning, if you're reading the Divine Wrath, use Lance, use his effect, go for it. He stops Bottomless, protects Kokimiru. I actually made this a couple weeks ago. I took it out right now for deep prisons. I'm seeing how those do in its place. But Lance, for a while there, was my MVP card because I would summon, they would try to get rid of it, and I would stop them. It's just that good. And has a lot of versatility if they attack, if you attack, damage step, you know how that goes. My Body, a lot of people don't run this anymore because there's not a lot of destruction out there. It's mostly now return, remove from play, blah, blah, blah. But I think that My Body still has some potential. It could be side decked if you're willing to do that. I personally don't like My Body, but it is a card I've seen used that has some potential. And the third one is Foolish Burial. Now Dragons are being out, I don't see as much people running Foolish Burial anymore, but there was a point in time that was our card to use. If you remember back when, Foolish Burial was our card besides Future Fusion. I don't really like it that much anymore just because there's a lot better cards out there to use. There's a lot more controlling cards. There's a lot more swarm cards. I think Foolish Burial is too slow in this deck. It can be used, so don't disregard it. Test it out, try it, see what you think. Okay, now let's get to my lineup. First is Solidarity. Now you all know what Solidarity does. If there's a type of monster, if there's only one type of monster in your graveyard, all the monsters on the field with that same attribute get 800 attack. So that means you'll have a 33 Stardust, a 36 Red Eyes, a 26 Wyvern, 22 Mast. I mean, the possibilities are almost endless with this card. It does have its weaknesses. If you go to attack and they MST it, you're going to lose it and your monster, potentially. That's why I don't run it, just because there's ways to get around it. There's easy ways to get around it. That's why I don't run it. But I think it has a lot of potential, and I think that you should try it out and see how it goes for you. Next up is Burial from a Different Dimension, a card that a lot of people main, and I used to main, but it became a dead draw too much. I like it because it's a good late game card. I didn't like drawing it first turn or in my opening turns, in my first few turns, but you get it late game where you have nothing and it's your only option. It can be a game breaking card. It could almost be that second Future Fusion that you need. The reason I don't use it was because it was a dead draw too much for me, but when it did go off, it was always good. Plus, it's fun to chain against bunnies. It's fun to chain against DD survivors, your opponent that's using Gold Sark. I think it's a good card, and I think it deserves mention worthy in this video. The next one is Reasoning. Reasoning, if you look at Disaster Dragon, they have level 2s, they run level 3s, they run level 4s. If you run Prime, that's a level 6. If you run Galaxy Eyes or something of the sort, that's level 8. Red Eyes is level 10. So you have a bunch of different varying levels here that Reasoning could go for. I don't main it myself because I don't run that many high-level monsters. I run 3 Red Eyes and a Lad, which if you draw a Lad with it, it stops Reasoning anyway, but Lad will go to the graveyard. Reasoning, I think, is a very good card, possibly in the Egg Turbo build because they run even more variant levels than Standard does. But Reasoning is a good card. I think you should try it out. I think you should give it a test and see where it takes you. Next up is Instant Fusion. I really love this card now because of Exceeds. Get a level 3, get a level 4, get a level 5. Anything below that really is useless unless you're going for Exceeding with Gotchi. But I love this synergy with Delta Flyer. I love Special Summoning a Dragon, removing it for Red Eyes. I love Exceeding. I mean, the possibilities with this card are wide, they're broad, and I think that Instant Fusion is a card that might see play in the future. I actually heard that there's a rumor that it might get limited to 1x format just because of Exceeds. Um, but as it stands right now, it's a really nice tech card. If they came out with a level 3 or level 4 water fusion monster, I might try to tech it in again to see how it works with Gungnir and getting Gungnir out. So instant fusion is definitely an option. The next one I want to talk about is Dragon's Ravine. Once per turn, the second effect, we're not going to talk about the first effect. The once per turn, discard a card from your hand, send a dragon type monster from the deck to the graveyard. I think that it has a lot of power in Disaster Dragon, especially the Egg Turbo. If you continually use it and use it and use it, it could end up becoming, again, that second future fusion that you need. Send dragons to the graveyard continuously, one after another, and just fill up your grave, fill it up with the dragons, Totem, Wyvern, Red Eyes, blah blah blah. You get where I'm coming from. I don't like it because they can chain MST to its cost, which would minus you 1. Well, which would minus you 2, and your opponent lose 1 minus 1. But I think it's a good card to tech in. I think in the Egg Turbo it deserves to be ran. Because even if you discard the MST, it most likely you're going to be discarding a White Stone, so you're going to get a Blue Eyes back anyway. So, Dragon's Ravine, try it out. I think it's a good card, and I think it has a lot of potential. Next is Smashing Ground. It doesn't really require a lot of explaining. Either you run Smashing or you don't. Because there are times that Disaster Dragon has a hard time getting over that one monster. Some including Christia, Spirit Reaper, maybe Grapha when he's a 3000 beat stick. Smashing Ground is an awesome card. It's been awesome since it came out. So I think it's definitely a card worth trying and worth playing. And the next and final card is Creature Swap. The reason I like Creature Swap is because it has good synergy with Totem, it has good synergy with Masked Dragon, it has good synergy even with Yamada. Attack, draw 5 cards, Creature Swap, get that monster, get whatever they have, attack their smallest monster, Creature Swap, get their BLS, draw 5 cards, reverse order on that statement. But I think it's a good card. I think it has a lot of potential. I might run it again to see if I can get it to work. It never worked out for me the way I wanted it to when I did run it, but I do think it has a lot of potential. Again, I think it could be ran, and I definitely think it's one of your better options to go with when taking in cards into Disaster Dragon. Alright, well that's it for now. In my next video, I'm going to be going over traps that I've seen work, that I've played myself, and that I think deserve mention that could be used in Disaster Dragon to, for lack of a better term, pwn face in, beat face in. Thank you so much, Disaster Daytona out here. Rate, comment, subscribe. We'll see you all later.